Good morning, guys. Rick Shaw here. It's the 2nd of September 2021. And I'll just tell you something happened to me. I started at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's 7:30 now. I just got off the phone. My bank in the States, they changed, merged with another one. So what happened was it gets a different account number and all this stuff. So I had to do a lot of changing things. You guys know I use TransferWise or Remitly or whatever. So I had to change those things. But opening up and starting the new account, I had to do some things. And it was not allowing me to get this code when you deal with the bank. And I just have a phone. I don't have a computer. Might be different on a computer, I'm not sure. But on my phone, when they would send the code, they don't use SMS on the text. They got a machine that does it so that it doesn't come to my phone being out of the country, even though it's a U.S. number. So, you know, it uses your device. So it won't send it. So then they have it send it to your email address. Morning. So had it, good morning. Had it going to the email address, and when I go to the email, it shuts off the account stuff, and you have to start over. So it's another new code. So it's a catch-22. You can't. There's nothing you can do. So I had to go to the bank, and they actually had to send me the code with the girl's cell phone on an SMS while she was watching on the computer. And now, because I'm in a different country, it makes me prompt this code every time. So the workaround we did was I had them send it to my wife's email so that we could see it, which takes a while. And this is going to be every time I use this bank now, I have to do that, to look at the account or to do anything. So know this when you're coming here, that you got your bank stuff set up really good. I think it's RCBC Bank is a good one to have there. You know, it's just this was 3.5 hours today of calling to the States and all this. I'm lucky I have a service that I can call through, but if you don't, it could get pretty expensive. Make sure you got your bank and stuff all in order. We were fine. Everything was perfect until my bank merged. They merged with another bank, and this stuff's happening all the time, guys. It can happen to you too, and they don't keep the same account number. They switched it over to a different one, different routing number, different everything. So, you know, the big banks are gobbling up the small banks. So it was a royal hassle, and it's still not 100% resolved. You know, it's just turning into something. You know, now I have to change my TransferWise to get money to come in. I tried to do that today because it's a new account. They wanted me to go to the bank and hit my code, so that wouldn't work. Even sending it to an email to my wife's, because it was going through them, it wouldn't allow it. You know, so now I'm waiting for these micro deposits that are going to go in, you know, a few cents that I have to punch in the correct numbers, and then they'll set up my transfer. Now, another thing that happened was my transfer I did the other day, they sent it, which was really cool, but they went from the old account, which isn't going to be honored anymore. I thought it was changed. You know, if I did it before the first, when everything was going to change, it was fine. But TransferWise, even though they sent the money, they hadn't taken it out of the account. They hit the account for it, so I don't know if they're going to get their money or not. All I know is it's still showing up in my account. So crazy stuff with this banking. I never really had problems with banks in the States, but the banks here, guys, my goodness, it's a real hassle. This security bank that I use, I want to do away with them because there's no cash machines. Cash machines they had at the different malls, they remove them. Our malls over here, they're removed. Somebody said, oh, they got another one at this other place. You could drive around looking for cash machines. And the cash machines at the two security banks here, the last month, every time I go there, it doesn't matter when I drive by there, out of order, offline. So don't use security if you come here. If you know, unless you want to go inside the bank and withdraw money, or you're just going to use a debit card to pay for everything. But when you come here to the States, or to the Philippines, I mean, so many places don't take debit. You know, if it's a big box stores, sure, at the malls or Wilcon Depot or anything like that, yeah, they'll take a card. But the rest of these little mom and pop stores where you're going to do most of your shopping in the markets and stuff, they don't take debit card. And another thing here in this country, you can forget about checks. Nobody really accepts checks here. You know, it's crazy. But that was my thing today. We're not done yet. It's 3.5 hours. Bank's closed now, so I can't. There's nothing I can do today. I have to try to finish this all up tomorrow if possible. The last time I had to do this way back in 2013, I used a computer phone then, and I got it all set up. And they go by device. They don't go by your number. They go by your device, whether it's a computer or a phone. So that when I tried to go back in, it didn't recognize the device. I would have had to go back to the internet cafe to use it. So it was, the bank worked with me on it though, and they knocked that security off. But this new bank, they can't knock any of the security features off. It's gonna challenge me for this code every single time I use them. She said there's nothing they can do. So, and I try to set up direct transfers with them. It doesn't go. They won't transfer out of the country. You're going to find that out too. Maybe some banks do, but every bank I ever tried, they just don't want to do it. I tried Bill Payer to transfer, even though I have a U.S. peso account here. But you got to watch that too, because they're going to give you a horrible exchange. Last time I tried to do that, they wanted to give me 42 pesos to the dollar, and right now it's sitting at 51. So, they're gonna screw you any way they can, and then they're going to charge you a $35 fee. At least my bank did. I don't know about this new one, but make sure you got your banking stuff in order, so that you can get, if you're going to retire here, that you can get your money without all these ridiculous hassles. I also would recommend that you keep a U.S. number. Like if you use one of these VOPs, they call it voice over protocol. There's a bunch of different ones. I think there's Skype, and there's different ones. Have that, because it doesn't work. And a U.S. address too. Like another problem we had here when we moved. It doesn't allow you. It doesn't allow you to put your address in. I actually had to have the lady at the bank put it in, and we had to add a 0 to the zip code, because it doesn't accept the 4-digit zip code, which is what you have in the Philippines. It mandates you to put a 5. It's like these places figure there's no other place in the world but the U.S. And then putting all my information on the address, my mail won't get here unless everything's in there. Well, it wouldn't allow me to put it in. My old bank or this one, it just wouldn't allow it. It was too much stuff. There's no place for the barangay. And if you send mail here from the States and you don't put the barangay, no matter that I put the zip code and Lipa City, nothing gets here. I haven't gotten any mail at this place yet. So you have to have all that stuff in there. Mail that comes here to the Philippines, if it doesn't, if every I isn't dotted and every T isn't crossed, they throw it in the garbage. I don't even think they send it back. So needless to say, you're not going to get it. So when the girl actually had to get all that stuff in, it wouldn't allow me to do it. Even though I went on to the account, I had to call them back, because it says, nope, you can't put it in. I tried to put the barangay in where the city was. It only allows you to put so many characters in, and then it stops. You can't finish it. So, but she was able to get it in and get the address, and they're sending me a new debit card and all that kind of stuff. But make sure, now my last place I lived at, the address went in no problem, because there wasn't so much stuff. But here, there's a bunch of stuff. If I don't put the name of this development, the mail doesn't get to me. For some reason, it's got to have this development name, because we tried even sending stuff just from locally, having somebody send us stuff, here in the Philippines. It won't get here. The only ones that got here were the ones that were the complete name of everything, because if it goes to this barangay and it doesn't have which development, there's a whole bunch of developments in here, bunches of them. So they get it, and they don't know what to do with it. So we're probably going to go down to the barangay, bring them some coffee and stuff, and introduce ourselves. We should have done it already, and then let them know. Maybe it'll get to the post office there. I'm not sure. We're going to have to figure something out though for the mail here. So just make sure you got all that taken care of before you come. I know some folks are coming, and you're going to find out. Everybody says, "Oh no, everything's going to be fine." Blah blah blah. Things don't work here like they work in the States, guys, or from wherever you're from. This has got its own system here, and you got to work within it, or you're just going to beat your head into the wall. And you just got to have patience. The bank girl was being very nice, and this is just what we're dealing with, guys. It was royal pain, and I'm and I'm still not done. That's the problem. So waiting for him to send me these micro amounts and all that stuff, and then waiting for debit. It's also cheaper when you use these transfer companies. If you use an ACH off your checking account, that's a higher fee than if you can use a debit. Now the other thing is, my old bank had a limit, so if I use the debit card to transfer money, it's cheaper. It's much cheaper, but I had to call them up and up my limit. A daily limit. Now this new one, the limit's much higher. The limit is set at 4,000, which is just perfect for us. That works out just fine. And they were able to change that for me just by talking to her. I said, look, I do transfers. I'm never going to use the debit card for anything, here at all. I won't use it. If I come to the States and decide I'm going to use it, I'll call you. But, don't allow anything to use it other than these transfers. And I gave her the transfer companies I was using, and they put a note on the account. So that was cool. That's something else that I found out I could do today. So now I don't have to call them. Before, when I was using the debit to transfer money here, I would have to call them up and say, hey, could you take my limit off for today? I'm going to be doing a transfer today. Well, calling to the States can be a real hassle. When I had the data, the calls were terrible. But I got one of the tellers, knew him personally. I got his text number on his phone, so I could text him what day to take it off. So that was really cool. But now this new bank, they don't have that. I'm getting a bunch of different people every time I call. They don't know me. So just I'm just trying to let you know what goes on with all the banking. At least the problems I'm having. You may not have the same problems. I don't know. I know some people just don't. But I know with TransferWise, it's always cheaper if you use a debit card, and Remitly it's cheaper with the debit. But if you use ACH like what I've been using, because there's no limit on that, and calling every month, sometimes you just can't get through to the guy to take it off. Mine comes in on the first of every month. I ask him if you could just automatically do it on the first. Nope, I have to call him every time. At least I had to before. Like I say, the new bank, they kick the limit up, and they can leave it there. That's their maximum. But she said we can do that. So, but it's just me rolling on about all the stuff that goes on here, so you guys are ready for this. When it happens to you, that way at least you know what's going on. I do recommend any bank account that's here and in the States also. If you see BPI, I think they have those in the States now. Anything like that'll work pretty good. And see what about you have to have $1 in a peso account set up. Right now, there's accounts I have here I cannot transfer the money in because it's a peso account. And if you do transfer the money in, they give a much lower rate. The one bank I go to that I have a dollar account, it's a ridiculous low rate for them to change it. Right now I'm seeing it's 51 or 49.87, something like that is the transfer. You go into the bank, it says 45. Today's rate they're transferring at is 45. So, you know, the banks they'll take a bunch of your money. You know, that's a huge amount they're going to take when you're transferring how much we do. So, but I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We had hail yesterday. We had some hail. My wife's fixing the garden up right now. Chewed the garden up pretty good. We had such a downpour yesterday. It was unbelievable. We had lightning after the rain quit. Didn't last for long, half an hour. It was super hard rain. Had to have all the windows in the house closed because rain was getting in, even if it was a crack. That window's still leaking. The company, I called them. You know, I'm just getting tired of calling them. I guess we got a house with a window that's going to leak. They're not going to do anything to fix it. So remember that also when you get a house built here. You're pretty much on your own. They seem like they're just done with you. Once they get the house and you take possession, the window leaks. I called them months ago that it's leaking, and we'll take care of it. Yeah, and call them back. Yeah, we'll take care of it. Yeah, call them back. We'll take care of it. Yeah, and that's just what they do here. That's about the only thing you're going to get from these folks that I dealt with. You know, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. That's all we get. And so that's why it's frustrating. That's why it's frustrating to make the videos on these guys. People say get a lawyer. I had somebody on there saying, yeah, you should get a lawyer about all this stuff. Yeah, right. You guys, apparently they didn't live in the Philippines, because you can get a lawyer all you want. If they do get you anything, it's 10 years from now, maybe. You know, maybe. I had a guy hit me completely 100% his fault. Destroyed my motorcycle, did everything. We went 3.5 years through the court, and then by the time it was all done, this guy would come in such a sad sack. He'd come to my house and swear at my wife and call us filthy names and was terrible. But when we walked into court, he was, oh, I got no money, and the judge felt sorry for him and gave him a third of what we lost. So trying to use the court system here, you can forget it. You know, you can get a lawyer all you want. You know, it's not going to work. Maybe you can get them to send a letter, but these places will probably just throw that letter in the garbage. So just know all that when you come. You know, you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. So this is Rick Shaw out.